You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey guys, welcome back to Cards to the Moon. This is episode 347. And my name is Clark from 5cardguys.com, and you can also find me at 5cardguys, all one word, on Instagram, YouTube, and on Facebook. Co-hosting with me as usual is Hyung, who is at Cho Hyung on Instagram and YouTube. And for those who are curious, John's just been super busy at work, but he will join us whenever he can. But for this episode, he did share a couple of opinions on some of the things we'll be talking about in this episode. So off the top, starting with the launch of the 2026 Winter Goldin 100 auction, I want to talk about this because it's got some monster cards up for auction and it's running for the next month or so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list several for you, Hyung, and you tell me which one appeals to you the most for whatever reason, and which one would you vault for a long time as a kind of investment piece or a marquee portfolio piece. All right. So here's the list that kind of, at least the cards that caught my eye, at least in this auction. The first one, the 1916 M101-5 Sporting News Babe Ruth baseball card, PSA 7. All right. Already at $1 million with the buyer's premium. So it's got 30 more days to go in the auction. Another one, 2024-25, more recent, more modern, the Panini National Treasures logoman autograph card of Stephen Curry. It is a 1 of 1, and it was graded a PSA 10 auto 10. Okay, and that's currently at $543,000 on bids. Another one, a iconic card, 1997-98 SkyBox Metal Universe, the PMG Red of Michael Jordan, numbered to 100. That's a PSA 5, but it's already at $440,000 on bids. That's going to go much higher, I'm sure. Here's the next one is the 2018 Bowman Chrome autograph of Shohei Ohtani. His carrying bag, we've talked about it before on the pod. It is autograph version, numbered to 25, and it got a PSA 10-10 grade as well. And that's at $185,000 right now. Wow. And then the one I didn't share in the show notes beforehand for you guys was the 2025-26. Okay, just came out. The Topps Chrome Superfractor autograph card of Victor Wembanyama. All right, 1 of 1. Jersey number, of course, PSA 8.5, and it's at $160,000. So out of those, which one appeals to you the most, and which one would you vault for a long time? Is it the same card, or are they two different ones?
Oh wow, what a question. I think for me, you have to go with the oldest card. I just feel like your modern card, there's so much, because you're saying vaulting away, like storing away. I'm not talking about paper-handed flips that everybody would pick. Normally they would pick, oh, well, I can make X amount. We're not talking about making X amount. We're talking about irreplaceable value at this point.
Yes.
Right?
Sure.
So for me, the long-term play is definitely the Babe Ruth, because for me, it's not even about the player. It's not even about their legacy necessarily. Obviously, their legacy is important because they have to have a legacy, but it's more so the scarcity and how old and how much of an art and history it is, more so than, oh, I'm investing in the best player. I don't even, like, you can't even make that conclusion that Babe Ruth was the best player ever. So it's not even about that, right? So for me, it's more the things that you can't really get from modern cards, I would say. It's just, modern cards would have to wait another, 100 years or 50 years for it to be in the same category. But if that's the case, then the Babe Ruth card's going to be 200 years old. So, you know what I mean? So it's always going to have the foundational elements of long-term hold, like vault. Yeah. If it's like a family heirloom where it's like, this is kind of like stays in the family, it's going to be passed on from generation to generation. that's the card I'm going with.
Yeah, I think for us on the pod, at least, it's a no-brainer. That's what John voted, the Babe Ruth. I think that was easy for him as well. And for all the reasons you mentioned, I agree. It's just it's a masterpiece. But how about if I reframe the question a different way? 50 years to 100 years down the line, is there any card out of that list that would surpass the value of the Babe Ruth if everything hits right?
Because it's a 1-of-1, of course, it could happen. But that's a massive risk. Like, if we're talking like a massive, because you have to assume that the player continues his career. Someone like Steph, may have already, locked in that legacy. So that might be a safer bet than like a Victor. But like, it would be along that scale. I think it's still the Babe Ruth, on that end, because I wouldn't want to take any risk. Like, even the national treasures, the Steph Curry, it's like, I don't know how logomans are going to age. Obviously, they're projected to be good, but people are overpaying for modern cards right now. We don't know the market. It could do way big better than the Babe Ruth. Who knows? But for me, at that level and assessing risk, it's like, why bother if you have that option? I mean, if it was the next best option, absolutely. Right? They're both monster cards that have massive, massive potential. And I think they're able to be vaulted in every single way. All of those cards you mentioned, including the Victor Wemby. I think that if somebody had that and held that, and then Wemby ended up becoming, what everybody thinks he's capable of, that card's in a conversation with, the logomans of the world. So you just never know. But if you're giving me a choice and something's already a guarantee, I'm going with the Babe Ruth still.
Still can't sway you. I'm sure this is a hard one to sway anyone, really. I think, but if I'm just playing fantasy world, right, I could see a remote possibility. I'm not even saying it's a genuine, real possibility, but a remote one where I think only the Wemby's got a shot. Because it is his first licensed Topps Chrome card. It is a superfractor, of course. And Wemby, his potential is still being written, right? Like, in terms of what he can accomplish in his career. And we've already saw records being smashed with his defensive prowess and, just his all-around ability to play basketball. So I think Wemby's the only one, because you're right. I think the Steph Curry, the National Treasures logoman, is safer now because he does have he's done a lot more in his career, and he cemented his legacy in that sense. But it is a 24-25. He has other cards too that are monsters. You know what I mean? Where you can argue that the Wemby Topps Chrome Superfractor Auto might be his best card. You can argue that, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that assessment is fair. Like, it's definitely the upsides there, and because it's a 1-of-1, it only takes one person to make that transaction, and you could win in any sort. It might outperform the Babe Ruth, but not like it. I don't think it'll outperform it in 50 years, but during that time, it could outperform because, like I said, people are emotional, and if the timing is right, where Wemby does Wemby things because he's relevant, it might outsell it. Period. And that's the crazy part. It's like, we won't know, but at what risk are you willing to take? Whoever's willing to play that risk, right? And that's why everybody's risk appetite's different. And it all depends on intention. If you're telling me, if you're to take this card over the next 10 years and the goal was to make as much money as possible, I think I would go the Wemby direction. But if it's a vault thing where I'm just going to pass it on, it's like, it has to be like something that's already like good to go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I get it.
But I get it.
On, yeah. But before we move on, I wanted to ask you about. I mean, we got to talk about the Ohtani, his carrying bag card again.
I love that. I love that card.
Number 25, very rare. Why do you love it? Because I want to. I'm reassessing my. Yeah. Okay.
Here's why I love it. When everybody was chasing Bowman Chrome, both images. So Bowman was the pitching image, was the go-to, because Bowman was the flagship. It's the first release. That was first Ohtani's release. And then Bowman Chrome comes later in the summer. So there's always been like a 1-2 in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the difference with that variation, it is so different in terms of what's available as the top chases of Ohtani's cards, and there's only 25. It's different than an orange refractor. Like, of course, an orange refractor on the Bowman image is going to be a massive grail card for anybody. But I think it's a different card, period, because the print run of the image is different. Like, and I know it might not matter to people. It matters to me. Like, and that's why I'll give you a perfect example. What you guys told me to sell, that Ohtani, the SSP, the no name. And I'm on the camp where I'm going to hold it one because it's just a PC, right? Cool PC. But the main reason is because the image is different than any other parallel. It's a print run thing, more so. An actual print run of the image. So to me, I value that long term more, and collectors value that long term more if there's a lower print run versus a parallel. Like out of 25, the Bowman batting, or the pitching rookie auto, yes, it's definitely the card to have. But in terms of long term value, I think that out of 25, the variation is a monster card. And the price that you could achieve on that card, I think, has just as high as a ceiling as, that pitching. I think it outweighs the Bowman Chrome image for sure, the batting image. And I think, the real collectors know that, and that's why you're justifying this current price that you have.
Okay, I'm back on. you
image wise though, I agree. Yeah. It's not the greatest image, but on card auto in the main set, it's the alternative of the pitching.
Yeah, it's definitely, you can tell it's an image variation card, right? But just to be clear for the listening audience, you're saying that carrying bag card, there's only 25 autograph versions of that card. Like, there's no parallels. You know what I mean? I think there's a non-auto version of it, but that's rare as well, right?
Which I think it brings up more value, because it's like that itself is the image that people want. So the base card of that is always valuable because it's a short print. It's the image variation, right? Yeah. It's the upgraded rookie card. So this is the auto version of the upgraded rookie card, whereas the other image is the upgraded version of the base rookie card.
Right. So the print run, the print run on that image variation is low because it is a SP or SSP.
Right. And then you as a purchaser, would you rather have long-term the SP or the base image in a PSA 10? I would know your answer, right? Yeah. And that's the whole point, is like, what's the difference in value between that base card and that SP, right? Just on that. And then I view it the same way. What would be the value, the upgraded value on that? Like, it's a more desired card. It's similar to the whole thing is like, I think eventually Dynasty and Transcendent will eventually get its mark, because if you think about it, the RIP costs so much, right? Mm-hmm. So it's supposed to be a higher end set. So it's the same thing in this situation. It's like the base card versus the SP is a totally different card, and you're talking about the auto version of that SP. So to me, the scarcity in the long run is what people are looking for. Yeah, people might like the image better, but I guarantee you the lesser print run of the image will ultimately sell for more in the long run. The other one might be more liquid because you have comps to go off of. But I think in terms of long-term scarcity, this is what I'm looking for. This is what high-end collectors are looking for. This is what we'll see where the market ends up, right? And we could compare, would you rather this Ohtani parallel or the image variation? You
know what? You already took I was going to change my pick one, and that's it. So I'll start the pick one for this episode later. Okay. So, all right, let's move on to hobby headlines. So I thought for this hobby headlines, for this episode, we can talk about guys in the hobby that are really hyped up right now. And I got this idea because there's one particular player that Hyung, you've been raving about lately in our chat. You know, I thought we could ask, are there any such players who are hyped to the moon? But you know what? The hype is totally warranted. And although their card prices are pretty high, it might still not be a bad idea to look into getting or picking up their cards. Because in the long term, maybe we believe it's got a shot to go even higher. Okay, so let's start with the guy you and a lot of others in sports in general and definitely in the hobby are excited about. His name is Cooper Flagg. Are you buying Cooper Flagg now in this market?
I'll speak for John right now. And I already know what John's saying. It's no for everybody.
John's answer for everything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I agree. I agree for the most part because with that logic, I think there's always going to be buying opportunities. And that's what you want to, position yourself with sports cards. If you're getting into it, it's always how good of a buy is it? So in general, yeah, we're talking about releases and Cooper Flagg happens to be doing he's been playing really good basketball and he's fun to watch. Like I enjoy him. That's why I like him and I'm for him. Does his prices currently justify? I'll give you a good idea. Like I pulled a base Cooper Flagg Topps Chrome base and PSC 10 goes for 800. Yep. I'm ecstatic. I'm thrilled. That was a value box, a blaster box, So for me, I love that there's this volatility because it makes collecting fun for me and justifying ripping a $50 box or whatever it is, right? You get a chance to ride on that hype wave, right? So are they hyped? Absolutely. Am I hating on the hype? No, I love it. Would I buy Cooper Flagg right now? Probably not. But today's prices might be a discount still. And we can't necessarily say that that's not going to happen. We've seen it with Shohei, right. But can Cooper Flagg continue that? And that's the scary part. If I were to tell you, would you have bought a Steph Curry Topps Chrome rookie auto, let's just say, I don't even know if he has a rookie auto, or just say a number to 50, even not a non-auto, a gold to number to 50 or 10 or whatever Topps Chrome was in that year. Would you purchase it for similar prices as Cooper Flagg? So let's just say that sold for 10 grand. In hindsight, you'd be like, it's a deal, right? But there was an evolution of that. That didn't happen overnight, right? That happened over time. Steph had to establish his career. So that's where I see the same thing with Cooper Flagg. It's I love him as a player. I think he's going to be a hobby delight. It's perfect follow-up to Victor Wembanyama, where it's perfect. We have a bunch of studs coming up, and you want them to succeed because what he's doing right now is kind of you see hints of greatness. You see Larry Bird type, style of basketball. And I know he's going to be a 25 to 30 point scorer. It shows right now because he's shooting 28% from 3-point range. And it's those, and he's 19. So it's he figures stuff out, his outside perimeter shooting and, and that comes with age. But the fact that he's still dropping, averaging 20 points per game as a 19-year-old, and he's doing it day in, day out. And as he continues to play, he's looking more comfortable and more comfortable. And that's why I started getting on him. It's kind of before it's oh, we'll see how Cooper Flagg does. And then as he plays, you're wait a minute. It's not like he's dropping 15, 20. This guy's dropping 30 plus on guys, right? So he's very interesting to me. Is he worth it right now? No. And nobody is. But like I said, if you're in long term with him, there might not be another buying opportunity. Or you take the risk of, you might be outpriced right in the short future, because if he continues the hobby hype, when does that dip go? It could be this offseason. It could be 2 off seasons from now. We don't really know. But if you're long term on him, saying, okay, I'm going to take a Steph Curry approach where I'm going to throw a Hail Mary and get his best card possible and lock it up and It's going to be $150,000 in 10 years. You know what? I can't say that's not a bad play because we've seen it happen multiple times in our market with multiple players, and you could kind of draw the comparison, right? So it is a high risk, but high reward, I think. So I don't necessarily say it's a bad move because I think the upside is there. So looking at it both ways. Now, let's just say Drake Maye, for instance, would be, I know that name is probably thrown out there.
Yeah.
I think similar outcomes could happen, but again, it's like realistically, what's the upside of Drake Maye prices if everything lands perfectly? And that's why it's like you can't expect him to do Tom Brady things because the comparison's just not there. So it's like these false expectations, I think, is what traps people because you're buying in right now projected that everybody's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to develop a Hall of Fame career. So at some point in time during that Hall of Fame run of the next 10 years, there's going to be buying opportunities always.
Yeah. I mean, I bring this up because when the hype is this loud, it's easy to become irrational, right? So, and I'm like you, enjoying Cooper Flagg's game. Like it's incredible what he's doing as a 19-year-old as well. So I'm wondering if there are everything you shared, what differentiates players like Cooper Flagg where you might even consider buying into the hype, knowing that it's probably overvalued, most likely just, basing on history of cards being hyped and if you buy too early, you're probably taking a major risk. Let's just say that, versus, not even considering buying because the hype is so big that you don't believe it, So is it a matter of actually seeing how he plays? And because, you could say Ja Morant, you could say Zion Williamson. There's been hints and sparks, and we saw how that turned out even now. Like for them to get to the levels they were before, it's going to be really, really difficult. But then on the other hand, I think a good comp is Victor Wembanyama, super hyped coming into the league, and of course, if you're the first 10 buyers of his rookie cards slabbed in a PSA 10, you overpaid, but then it came down and settled even a month or 2 months in. But guess what? A year later, it's double the price. And Wemby looks like he's even this early in his career on the Ohtani projections, where it's like, is this going to be just a new floor every year and it'll incrementally go up? So,
but the problem with that, Clark, though, is that's given that he stays healthy, because one injury could totally set someone's market, down, and people forget about it depending on how long the injury. Ohtani is exception, so I want to extrapolate the same data because I think Ohtani has done Hall of Fame stuff right now. Wemby hasn't yet. So it's to be determined. Yeah, he has the potential, but I think there's still going to be it's up this year. It could simply go down past kind of the lows of last year. And what we're seeing is a downward trend on Wemby, not necessarily an upward trend, right? Because it's to be determined, because the upward trend will be dictated on health, his status, whereas Ohtani is establishing, higher lows because he's already solidified legacy that people buy into. He's a fan favorite. He's media present. Look, all the right combination is there. There's a global market for him. So to me, it's Ohtani's tough to compare because you'd have to almost put Ohtani in the same boat as Steph Curry, LeBron type established legacy, where right now what we're seeing, because think Michael Jordan, LeBron, Steph Curry, all their high-end cards have sold for millions, right? So Ohtani's starting to see that, right? So it's he's just catching up to those guys, right? Because that's the comp. But for us to comp, I think Ohtani and Wemby, it's the trajectories there, but I think the price comps are yet to be determined because there's a lot of variables, I guess, for Wemby to do, whereas Ohtani already established it, right? I would say it's more accurate to draw the lines of Cooper Flagg and maybe Luka
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think Luka's still on that. He's not at that Otani level where he established, right? He's on the trajectory of maybe being a scoring leader. That would be a huge milestone for Luka. Maybe he wins MVP, right? So it's like those are things that would be massive for Luka's card markets. And we've all witnessed Luka's card market. We've all participated on the highs and lows. And it's the same thing. It's like if you bought in 2018, 2019, it was super expensive. And then there was a massive, massive crash, right? That you bought in well. You got an Optic Auto Blue that is a sick card. Probably you've done really well on that. Out of curiosity, what are we talking about? How many X?
2X now, doubled, yeah.
So amazing.
Almost.
Like that's what I'm saying. It's like you identified that, hey, we all agreed that was a low buying period because, you believed in Luka's talent, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing where I see Cooper Flagg in that potential where it could go both ways because all it takes is failure, which he's going to kind of go through. Luka went through failure, whether you know it or not. He's put up very respectable numbers, but expectations are for him to be a winner, a championship, bringing home a championship. So those are the expectations on Luka. And as he starts fulfilling that, his prices will solidify. But until he does, it's going to be a volatile market. And you witnessed it. We all witnessed it. And I see that same thing with Cooper Flagg. There's going to be highs and lows with this until he solidifies, scoring 30 a night, winning MVP, bringing a championship to Dallas. That would totally change it, right? So that's why it's like that's what you're banking on, and that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And winning a championship is obviously really tough. You could fall into Charles Barkley territory, James Harden, like those guys were at the peak in some of their seasons in their career. But without that championship, it does put a limit on things, so it seems, right? So yeah, great point. I want to move on to his college teammate. This might be an easier discussion, but he was an early Rookie of the Year favorite until Cooper Flagg kind of took over. I'm talking, of course, about Con Knipple. Still very good rookie, but he is priced a lot lower than Cooper Flagg, right? The hype wasn't there as much. He was still a top pick in the draft, but would you be more interested in someone like Knipple because of his lower entry point?
I don't think that's a bad move. I think he's just as fun to watch, to be honest. And you hope that, Charlotte's able to start winning, and that's gonna be on Cooper Flagg's back too. You gotta win at some point. Victor Wembanyama has to win, right? There has to be that element. So I don't know if Con is that guy to put the team on his back and be that guy. So to me, it's Cooper is that guy. Like you got to build the team on the offensive style that Cooper brings and vice versa. It's like, I don't know if Con is the guy you surround. He might be a great complementary player in the future where you build, he's an addition to the foundational element. And that kind of puts me off of him and this doesn't discredit at what he's doing. I think he's unbelievable. And who knows, he might break records in terms of, 3-pointers because the game has changed over the last 20 years, right? Like the amount of 3-pointers taken in basketball is crazy now compared to, Jordan's era. So who knows what we're going to see in terms of numbers and breaking records because he might be able to do that. And we just see it for the face value of it. Like no one's going to say, oh, the era was different. If he breaks records, he breaks records. But in reality, it's like, does that mean he was a superior player than Larry Bird, right? It might not, right?
So that's a good point because John also brought it up in our chat before, right? Like he was saying to us that Con Knipple's in a way lucky to be in this era of basketball where you are allowed to take 23s a game and then, pad your numbers that way. But at the end of the day, if you don't win a championship, despite having a high percentage, 3-point rate, then it doesn't really matter as much, like Steph Curry, he's won championships And you were kind of discussing it earlier. He's done both, and that's why his ceiling is that much higher.
Right, and that's a perfect point. Like, it goes down to how effective is his 3-point shooting? Is it effective enough to carry a team and win championships? Then you have someone totally different. And the same thing. It's like Steph Curry isn't Steph Curry because he's the greatest 3-point shooter of all time, or he's great at scoring or creating, opportunities for the offense. It's his game translates into championships. Jordan's game transitions to championships. That's it. And for me, it's like Cooper Flagg, his game is going to need to translate into championships. Victor Wembanyama, his game is going to need, same thing. It follows every single standard. And I'll even say Luka, his game and his future prices will be dictated on whether he could win a championship or not, or championships. It's been the same thing with the greatest basketball players and the card markets. It's people who win championships, right? So for me, it's very hard to put that on someone like a Kneppel, even a Cooper Flagg. But in terms of upside, when you compare the two, I don't think there really is a comparison, because I see Cooper Flagg's upside of that type of 30-type point scorer that's going to potentially bring a championship. But like I said, that's a big feat to ask. I don't see Khan doing that. I'm sorry.
That's fair. I mean, I'm sure you're not the only one. But, going back to your point about winning championships, SGA is a perfect example, right? He's been like at a certain level for so long until he won. And now OKC is always a threat year after year because they have such a young core and they're going to be together for a while. And now we've seen that bump with SGA cards, So I think that's a good example. But before we kind of put a bow on Flagg and Knuppel, I'm wondering which one would you rather have then? Topps Chrome Rookie Auto, Raw, recently sold for $1,400 for Flagg. $1,400 Topps Chrome Rookie Auto base. Yeah. Or Knuppel was just $1,000 less at $400.
Oh, wow. This is a good question. Remember when we said, man, $4,000 for a base Ohtani auto and Topps Chrome? That's crazy. It's like, we're laughing now, right? But not saying it would reach prices that much, but yeah, I think I'm more comfortable at purchasing the $1,400 Cooper auto than the Knuppel. Not because it can't go up. I just don't see that price spiking. I could see the Knuppel card staying there or maybe increasing, but not. I could see the Cooper Flagg card going for like $5,000. Like, I know it's ridiculous, right. But like,
yeah, I get it.
If the time is right, yeah, like it's that type of player. Yeah,
I'm with you. Like 1,400. It's funny how we were like, that's not too bad. At the same time, for a base auto, it's crazy. All right, one more player, and you already mentioned him, Drake Maye, getting a lot of buzz. Obviously, we're recording this episode before the Super Bowl. When this airs, it'll be after the Super Bowl. We'll see if Drake Maye can pull it off. Right now, I think if you look at Polymarket, which is a predictions market website, Seattle's favored to win by 70% versus 30%. But wow, what a story for Drake Maye. And I think I already know your answer, but are you buying into his cards right now?
What do you think my answer is?
I think it's an absolute no.
Yeah, it is an absolute no, but like I think what he's done is what we're looking for in a prospect or an upcoming superstar. Is, you're able, and kudos to, the staff of New England for surrounding and upgrading where they needed to help support, Maye in his style of offense. And it's shown. It's like you go 4-13 the year before as a rookie, and then you're 14-3 this season. It's like, to me, that's what the card market loves. Because if he does pull it off, then yeah, for sure, you've cemented a legacy at 23 years old, right? And not a lot of people, we've seen it. The Justin Herberts, everybody's trying for that legacy, but they fall short in what happens to their card markets, right? So it's like, that's exactly the same positioning you're in. Everybody's looking for the next, Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, and that's always been the case in football, right? So everybody's loving it because you have kind of like the perfect storm in terms of who is the next Patrick Mahomes. And then it's the same thing. If he doesn't win, or maybe he does win and then he gets injured, or he has a bad season, it's like everybody's off him and it restarts again. And that's the volatility of this market we play in modern cards. And for people who collect, it's great opportunity to make money, because if you identify that, opportunity early, yeah, Drake Maye would fall into the category of the perfect marriage that we're trying to identify in the Victor Wemby. So if I'm saying, would you rather invest in Cooper, Flagg, Khan, or Drake Maye? I think Drake Maye is on that trajectory right now to be kind of more valuable
Sure.
because he's cementing legacy right off the bat as a 23-year-old, right? And yeah. So
that's a good point. I didn't think about it that way because he's on the cusp. But it's one of those things. Getting into the Super Bowl is not easy, and yeah. So, but kind of to your point, and then I'm going to provide a counter. If you invested in Drake Maye in September, before the season started, or around when the season started in September 2025, I'm looking at a Silver Prism PSA 10, one for $400.
Crazy. And
but if you want it now,
yeah.
If you want it now, it's $1,400.
Yeah.
In less than a year, within a season.
And then I guarantee you there are conversations in September saying so overpriced. Who would buy why would you spend $400 for Silver Prism? I could see that,
of course.
But that's the whole point. That's what drives our market, guys, is the hype. And then it becomes a supply demand thing, because it only takes a few minds to agree with Drake Maye is the future of New England. So we're waiting for that. So they've already identified that and they've calculated the risk. It's like $400. I'm in. Like this is,
right.
And they're projecting it to be $3,000 or whatever. And those are the guys that usually you do best with in our industry. And especially you could even multiply that if you're able to get the raw cards and grade them to get the upgrade on top of identifying them early, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you win the most. So yeah, 100%. It's like, it's everything what we talked about, is it a good buy at the time? And a lot of people will say too hyped, right? Too hyped. But that's the thing. It's like, when is it too hyped?
I mean, a lot of these young QBs are hyped out, and my counter argument would be like Bryce Young, all these other younger QBs, and they haven't reached that potential. But if you look back at Drake Maye's career, the turnaround is impressive. But then what he has going for him too is like the fact that he is playing for the New England Patriots. That team is historic. You got the Tom Brady comparison already, because they played by virtue of playing on the same team where Tom Brady's had the most success. And so there's all these narratives. We always say narratives also are another factor in terms of, people speculating on whether this player's card can increase in value. And Drake Maye's got that narrative going for him. If he wins the Super Bowl, you're going to see a spike. You're going to see a big spike right afterwards. So get ready. But
and that, to finish off this point, like at one point, it's February now. In September, at one point he was overrated or overhyped. Mm-hmm. You fast forward, do you agree or do you believe that he's overhyped at $400 for a Silver Prism now? Right? It changes within 3-4 months. That's how volatile our market is and the realities of it. So when people don't understand, I don't understand why this guy's selling for so much. He hasn't even accomplished anything. And, these other players have accomplished so much more in their career. Therefore, their price should be more. It's like, that is not the way the market works. And that's the way I think a lot of people try to make or justify the market working. But there's so many different things at play that I think a lot of people miss. It's just not just performance. There's so many different elements that are involved. So I think he's overhyped, but it's one of those scenarios where, easily can be a discount right now.
I mean, it's all hindsight at the end of the day, but you also have to look, relatively speaking, to other QBs when, when you think a card's overhyped. So if in September, you're like, Drake May for $400, what has he done? But then the hype at the time, if you remember back in September, Jordan Love, the Green Bay Packers were expected to do well. And in September 2024, his Silver Prism PSA 10 was selling for almost $1,000. So you're thinking $1,000 for Jordan Love, $400 for Drake May. I might be more willing to take the Drake May risk, knowing that, if he had a better offensive line, which, they did improve their team. And look what he's able to do when you improve other facets of your team. He plays more to his potential because he's better protected. So you could reason with yourself saying, I'm going to take the risk with Drake May because it is only $400 versus Jordan Love, $1,000. It looks like some of the price is baked in that he's going to make it to the Super Bowl this year with his team. Of course, that didn't end up turning out. And you know what his cards are worth now? It's $400. He went the complete other way than Drake May, right? So that's your football QB market for you in the hobby.
Right, and that could easily be Drake May too. And you know what I mean? So that's why it's a tricky game because there's so many factors at play, but people see it as opportunity because they think $400 is a great price to take that risk. And I don't disagree. I think those are the plays that I love making. Is early on to speculate that this is who I believe he is. And based on, comps and potential of other players, you could extrapolate the necessary data to, be confident in your purchases. So I love it. Congrats to those guys that, did well on Drake May, and he might be a sell right now because you don't want to take that risk. So, but at the same time, it could blow up if he does bring home a championship, right? So it's a fun time to be a Drake May holder. If you've gotten early, you won.
Yep. We can agree on that. All right. So good luck to all you Drake May holders for Sunday. We'll see what happens at the Super Bowl. But yeah, well, let's move on then to our next segment, which is Over Under. So if you missed last week's Over-Under, I thought I had the best time with the 2025 Ohtani cards. Just highly unpredictable. But I'm going to put another twist on this week's Over-Under segment. And it's not going to be just one number, but it's going to be different cards that sold recently. And I'm going to give you a number for each card that I list here. Okay, So the first one, a 2006 buyback card of the 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie, right? So the iconic 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie, I guess they bought back that card, and what they did was get Michael Jordan to autograph it on card, and they've numbered it to 23. Okay, so this buyback card numbered to 23 of the 1986 Fleer rookie card, and it was graded a PSA Authentic. The auto was graded a PSA 10. So that card, over or under $500,000.
Wow, $500K. I wasn't expecting that much. It's an authentic auto 10, right?
Yep.
It's funny because, if you're in the hobby before, it's kind of like the archive cards. Yes. You never really you knew that it was I don't want this, I'm out, because it's not the true rookie card, but it's numbered to 23 and it's an auto and it's in today's market. So I think people care less about that stuff and they follow trends. I wouldn't be surprised though if it did sell over $500K, but it seems a little excessive, it being not graded, the card itself, and it's just an authentic auto 10. But I'm telling you, that's the biggest valuation bump anybody could have, is a non-graded card and a auto 10, and people pay extreme inflation for that, right? Or premium for that. So I want to say it's over, but I'm going to say it's under right now because I just can't see that a non-graded card sell for $500K. That's how.
Well, it's graded now, PSA Authentic, but yeah, before
no, but that's what I'm saying. It's a non-graded card though. like I get a PSA 8 or 9 version and it's a highest graded.
I see. Oh, yeah,
Would,
right. It's
would,
just authentic, yeah.
Would get that, but if it's an
Gotcha.
authentic Auto 10, it's like the card's not graded. That means,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
But it's numbered to 23, and it was on Heritage Sports. So that's where it was auctioned off. It sold for $884,500.
Crazy.
You're not using Hobby Logic. This is what we talked about last week as well.
Yeah. No, it makes sense though. That's why I'm not surprised because
I see. Yeah.
I don't think the value is there though because, like I said, the old hobby was like frowned upon, right? But it's totally changed in terms of it had to be someone newer to the hobby where they're like, this is the card, which they might be right though. That's the thing. It's like they were right the whole time. So it's like to see it evolve to that point where it's like, man, a non-graded card that is not even the rookie auto. Cause how much does that put the 1986 Fleer if you have the MJ on-card auto? Right? Of the 1986 rookie card. You know what I mean? Wouldn't you pay more for that than a reprint?
It's a buyback, though.
Oh, it's a buyback, 2006. So the card itself is the rookie card, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not a reprint. Okay.
Yeah. If it was a reprint, definitely I think it falls.
No, do you know like those
short.
Mickey Mantle, like the 1952 like reprints?
Yeah, that's like, totally different.
Yeah.
I think I believe this is a 1986 Fleer that they bought back, which and got autographed and redistributed.
So yeah, I guess the price justification could. But what does I'm curious, what does a 86 actual Fleer, not a buyback, cost? Like, because what does that really make a difference? I'd rather have the regular rookie on card auto, to be honest.
You know what? Michael Jordan might be different because, I don't think you're going to get an on-card autograph from Michael Jordan. Do you know what I mean?
But I've seen an on-card auto on the '86 Fleer. I believe there are previous sales with the MJ auto on-card auto. Like it's like those Wayne Gretzky on-card auto, King Griffey Jr. on-card auto on the '89 Fleer PSA 10, kind of like that.
I've seen the sticker auto, the aftermarket
Altered
ones.
Look at this one though. I'll show you the link. Go check that one out. That post.
Okay.
So that's why it's like it's all over the place. Where that if that authentic auto is $800K, what would a '86 Fleer, let's just say a PSA 6 or 5 auto 10 sell for? You know what I mean? If PSA 9 is the comp auto 10 of a regular rookie and it sells for 2.5, is the buyback non-graded justified at 880,000?
Right. Okay. Now I'm confused. So the 2006 buyback, is it a reprint? I guess that's what they bought back, the 2006.
I think they bought it back in 2006 probably and released 23 cards of those buybacks. So the actual rookie card is a Fleer, but it's 86. It is an authentic 1986, but that's what sold. So it was probably released in 2006 and that sold for 880K, you said. But my whole thing is, wouldn't you rather have the 86 Fleer non-buyback auto?
Yes.
Because a non-graded one might sell for a lot cheaper than 880,000.
Yeah. And the one you showed me on the Facebook group that's just sold, or not, just 2.5 million for 1986 Fleer Mint 9 PSA 9 graded auto 10, and that was a non-card. Yeah. This MJ Fleer market with autos and stickers and on cards, it's just a crazy market. I don't even know. Anyway, maybe that wasn't a good one to start off with.
Those good. It was good intel. Like I didn't know. Like I was curious now. Like just seeing kind of like, okay, what's the true value of that? Do I think that it's 880,000? That's why for me it's like it's up in the air, because when you do comps, I don't think the $880,000 price is justifiable. If a PSA 9 auto 10 sold for 2.5, a buyback of the same kind of thing but non-graded should be less than 500K is what I'm saying, based on the 2.5 million comp.
Right. I get you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's move on to something a little less complicated, I think. Second card, we talked about Cooper Flagg. His highest sale ever to date currently was his top silver pack Superfractor rookie auto. That was graded a PSA authentic. Did it sell for over or under 100,000?
This is crazy. If it's over 100K, it's like that's the wrong card. I mean, like I said, it's a discount today. It could be $400,000 card before it's said and done. But silver packs are not typically, at least in baseball, you'd rather have other cards that are, of that type of value. But I don't know how much a Topps Chrome Superfractor would go for at that point, right? So 100K sounds ridiculously high for like a silver pack auto. But like I said, I don't know at this point because I'm over in these whole segments, and that's my goal, to be over. So I'm going to say it's under. All
right. Well, this is kind of proving a point, the point being how crazy the hobby is these days, right? Especially in 2025, 2026 now. Sold for 180,000, so it's over. The streak continues into this over-under segment. 0 for 6 now, yeah. No, over 7. Because we went over 5 the last one, yeah.
Nice.
All right. Remember I interviewed, if you're a listener of the podcast, the artist who did the alter ego cards in the Topps Chrome baseball, or was it Topps baseball? And the Shohei Ohtani one that he did, the Superfractor, the alter ego Superfractor, was pulled 1 of 1, sold for over or under 100,000 again. What would you say?
I'm okay. I know this answer.
Okay.
I think I know this answer because I remember saying to myself, I was like, wow, like think of you creating art and your card sold for over $100,000. Your art. What an amazing feat. And that's exactly, I think, what happened. So, but I'm going to say no, it's under.
Just to keep the streak alive.
You got to keep the streak alive.
The streak is alive. $105,000.
Well done.
Just over.
Amazing. And I love that card. I absolutely love it. I think so much eye appeal.
It looks amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just shout out to
the whole set.
Yeah. Shout out to Michael Blaskowicz, who was on our pod earlier, or late last year. All right. Last one. I don't know if you heard. Tiger Woods, he had his 50th birthday party, and if you were invited to his birthday party, the attendees were gifted an exclusive Upper Deck card limited to 415 copies. It was autographed and only distributed at the birthday party, at the event. Designed by DC Comics legend Jim Lee. One of them's just sold recently, like on the market. So I guess one of his guests was like, I'll make money off this. Over under 50,000.
Honestly,
imagine you went to the birthday party, over under 50,000. You could have just made coin just by going to this birthday party to get this exclusive card, autograph Upper Decks card. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And this is just proof. Well, one, it's funny because that's the greatest gift you could give your attendees because it costs Tiger Woods nothing.
Right.
And you created an illusion of enormous amounts of value because obviously that's the power he has. But think, if you usually buy a gift for your guests, right? It would cost you the opportunity cost of whatever that is. Tiger Woods is like, you know what? I probably know someone who could draw this, and then I'm just going to sign it, and it's going to be worth now $50,000. It cost me $0 to basically do this, and I give it as a present. Is great, and then now they leave with something that's probably over $50,000. And to me, that's genius based on Tiger Woods because he just gave them gifts that cost them nothing, but it was an illusion of $50,000. So I'm going to say under.
I'm sorry to tell you, Hyung, your streak is broken. It was under. Someone sold it, and this is crazy. I'm saying this. Someone sold it for $27,500, which seems like a steal for that card
Yeah.
for a limited edition. You know it came from his birthday party because that's the only place you got it, right? And it is his 50th birthday. I think that's a good deal for whoever got it for 27K.
Just speaking of, I know we talk about NFTs though. This would be a prime example of, I don't know how it looks, but I'll just leave it there. Not to get into a rabbit hole of things. Like, if there's utility in some sort of way, there's some type of future in cards in what Tiger Woods did in terms of that, because it becomes a very rare event, and there's some memory. So if you get creative and add utility with cards that you have access to, the value I think would be a lot higher eventually. But that just reminded me of that. Sorry.
No problem. Okay, that's a good point. All right, let's finish off with our regular weekly segment we call Pick One. All right, so we teased at the beginning of the show. I got one based on our earlier conversation. Would you rather have, and I'll start, would you rather have that Ohtani carrying bag, numbered to 25? I don't know what it's going to go for. It's currently, I think, what they say, almost at 200,000 right now. Okay. Would you rather have that card, PSA 10, Auto 10, right? Or Ohtani's Topps Chrome red refractor, numbered to 5, his rookie auto.
Rookie auto,
and
Topps Chrome.
PSA 9. Let's say PSA 9, because I think 10 would be valued at much higher. But according to Card Ladder, the last PSA 9 sold for 43,000 in 2024, so it's much higher. Pop 2.
Like a red Topps Chrome rookie auto?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
what was the highest Topps Chrome rookie auto sold? Do you know? Like an orange refractor PSA 10, I think? Like 135? Does that sound familiar?
Here we go. Orange. 102,000 for an orange PSA 10.
Okay. And that was what day?
November 2025.
So just recently. Yeah. So I would say
a red, according to Card Ladder, it values this card in the PSA 9 at about 185,000. A
red now.
Yeah. PSA 9.
And that $110,000 that sold was an orange PSA 10. The 100,000.
Yeah,
100,000.
Yep. That's right.
So they value. So right now, the bag on the shoulder is going to outsell the red.
It looks like
right. And that's a PSA 10.
Yeah, Auto 10.
Man, this is a really good one, Clark. Personally,
would you? Yeah.
Wow. At 185, I think I'd rather have the red auto. And I only say this because just like the whole Bowman Chrome versus debut patches, I always thought Topps Chrome was underrated, especially Ohtani auto. And I'm seeing a turn in the brand ever since Fanatics came. Topps Chrome is the product over Bowman Chrome, over everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think eventually people aren't going to really think that the Bowman is far superior than Topps Chrome in Ohtani. I think the level of playing field is eventually going to catch up, and people don't assess the same value as what I said. The bag on the shoulder is going to be more valuable than any of those cards, right? Right now, that's said to be true, but I think eventually people are not even going to realize that they're only going to see a red Topps Chrome auto, right? And they're going to see a PSA 10 auto that's non-action, non-hitting. So I'm going to go with the red at 185 because obviously the carrying shoulder is going to sell more for that. So I'm going to take it that it's not even to begin with. And at 185,000, I'd rather take the red.
Wow, interesting. And I know you're a big fan of the carrying bag, but honestly, for me, it's the red. It's really easy. I love that image better. It's out of 5, and so the grade doesn't matter as much. I don't care that the other one's PSA 10 and the red's PSA 9. So I'm with you. I'm choosing the red refractor Topps Chrome. I had the base. People who listen to I had the base one a while ago, which I sold for way too early. and I wish I had it back. But all right, so let's move on. Hyung, I know you admitted to me you didn't have one prepared, so I got a second one. I got a second one the one I had initially, before I changed it just right now. So it works out. We talked about Connor Griffin. Remember his Bowman Chrome first auto, PSA 10, which I believe was going for $1,200-$1,300, right? Would you rather have that card, because I know you're high on Connor Griffin, or what we talked about this week, the Cooper Flagg Topps Chrome base auto raw?
Wow. This is why I gave you the whole stage today, because the pick ones were great. Like this is a good one too, and I just don't like. I can't say it because they're both base autos.
But one's Chrome. Oh, they're both Chrome actually. Both
Bowman Chrome and Topps Chrome, but like it's. I'm not allured to like the high end on the Connor Griffin base auto is like I see 2,500, maybe 2,000, 2,500. That's where I think the price, and then it could tank. Cooper Flagg, I could see that base auto just going for ridiculous amounts for some reason. Like I don't think until Connor Griffin plays in the big leagues and starts actually playing, his card can sustain it. And I'll tell you, there's Bowman prospects are totally different. There's a period where they have to be the top prospect, and then it's a sell, and then it's performance. It's keeping up with that performance. So for me, Cooper Flagg is already performing. And I like that marriage of first year Topps Chrome. To me, it's Cooper Flagg, as crazy as that sounds. Like this is the high level of the Cooper Flagg Topps Chrome auto, I think, is higher than the Bowman Chrome base auto of Connor Griffin.
Yes, I did it. I got Hyung to choose a basketball card over a baseball card. So, but you know what? It's going to be another sweep. I think what you just said at the end, for basketball cards, Topps Chrome is even more special, right? And I think you mentioned that it'll get there for baseball, but this basketball card collectors, Topps Chrome, especially with the return of Topps Chrome licensed, Cooper Flagg being that first year, I think all that plays into adding to the value of this particular card. And yeah, I'll take a risk. 1,400 raw. Hopefully get it graded, get a PSA 9 or 10, and then you're laughing to the bank at that point, I think. So yeah, that was an easy one, I guess, at the end of the day. But I wonder what our listeners will say. So I'll put that up as a poll when this episode comes out. All right, another great episode. We'll have a brand new one for you on Friday, I believe, this week. Talk to you then. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5cardguys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU at Recess. You can also check us out at 5cardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.